think we're ready. So I'm going to kick things off with a very brief introduction, but my name is Sam Johnston, and I am representing the NYXL. I want to introduce the ownership, who we have represented by Farzam Kamel, sitting over here on my right. He is with Sterling VC, and he is going to take a moment to tell you guys a bit about the team. So I'll kick it over to him.
Hi everyone, how are you? So I'm Farzam Kamel. I'm a partner at Sterling VC, which is a division of a family-run group of companies called Sterling Equities that owns this team, NYXL. My group specifically is tasked to launch and grow this team over time. As part of a larger organization that owns the New York Mets, we have the ability and good fortune to be able to leverage years of experience running a professional sports franchise in the Mets and in New York, which has a pretty rich sports history. In that context, I'm pretty excited to be on stage here, talk about this team, which in our minds is the first professional esports team to truly represent the city. And we don't take for granted the opportunity that we have right now to add to New York sports history through our participation in the Overwatch League team. And as an organization, that has meant from day one establishing a foundation for on-the-field success, if I can sort of use that expression here. We have and always will look to attract and assimilate and support some of the best players in the world, regardless of backgrounds, with the focus on not just their skill, but their character as individuals as well. And I can speak on behalf of the whole ownership group to say that we're extremely proud of the guys representing us here all across this table, from players to coaches and analysts, and on all of our staff. And we look forward to supporting them, again, as players and as individuals, and in the age, making sure they're having fun with this job and enjoying doing what they do every single day. And to that, I'll turn this over to Coach Pavane. Talk about the team a little bit.
As far as noted, we are incredibly excited to bring NYXL to the city with the greatest fans in the world. NYXL features a roster of the top players in the world. The team includes 8 players from the Apex circuit in their inaugural season, and is managed by myself and Coach Hyung-Suk, Wizard Hyung Kim, and assistant coach Andrew Kim, and director of player personnel Scott Tesser. And we believe that team chemistry is one of the most important factors in ensuring our success this year. The teams that are going to have the most success are teams that have experience playing together and have developed their skills in some of top tournaments around the world. The team has been training hard every day to ensure that they are in top condition for the start of league play. The players are incredibly excited to kick things off against Boston on Thursday, and know that it will be an incredibly competitive season and the start of another great New York and Boston rivalry. We look forward to bringing a winning esports tradition to New York as the inaugural Overwatch League season kicks off.
Before we go ahead, we have a video we're going to show. I just want to give the team an opportunity to introduce themselves.
My name's Scott Tester. I'm the Director of Player Personnel for NYXL.
I'm Andrew Kim, the Player Manager for NYXL.
I'm Pavan for NYXL, Head Coach.
I'm Janus. I'm playing main tank for NYXL.
I'm Mano. My position is main tank. I'm Libero. I play Plex for NYXL.
I'm Orc, and I play support for NYXL.
Okay, I'm Severy. I play DPS for NYXL.
I'm Meko. I play off tank for NYXL.
I'm Jonak. My position supporter.
I'm fine. It's not fine. This player and my position DPS for NYXL.
I'm in it just to rewrite history, cause I'm in the mood to label us the leaders of the new school. This ain't for the radio, can't find this on YouTube. This the type of killing that these critics ain't used to. Victorious, victorious, victorious. In this day and age, I got time for innovation, time to be creative, time too big to waste all my time on critics hating. Flattered by your opinions, to show you I'll just embrace it. Now watch a early sunrise up, no daylight savings, go nuts when I have to. Glaze back my sound in this beats on the house that we dreaming. Watch me way back up in the castle, my thoughts are distorted. Cause I recall guys were hating uncommonly, all of them became common denominators. Hold up, try to overlook a rival. All eyes on me cause I got no competition. Now looking at an idol. Your dough ain't long enough to pay for my attention. Man, it's the gospel for the black sheep. I guess it got a banging ring to it. Quiet with triumph on the rap league. So all of you mother can sing to it. I was born to be victorious. Most definitely victorious. I'm destined to be victorious. Through all the hate that displayed, we remain warriors. I was born to be victorious. Most definitely victorious. I'm destined to be victorious. Through all the hate that displayed, we remain warriors. Try to overlook a rival. All eyes on me cause I got no competition.
All right, so we're going to open up to Q&A.
Hi there, Adam with Action Esports. We're based in the U.S. First question, in the last year, we've seen a lot more involvement by traditional sports figures, both as sponsors and as staff members of various esports teams. What do you see that relationship evolving into in the future, and how is that intermingling going to look years from now?
Sure. I mean, I attribute some of that to just the slow maturation of the market, but I think what you're seeing with what's going on with this league and what we expect will happen with subsequent leagues is sort of more established institutional players coming into this space. A lot of it is because of the construct of this league, giving owners a perpetual right to own the team so they can think long-term rather than short-term, and they can justify making it big expenses without worrying about sort of having to execute within 1 year. So I think that that's going to involve bringing in a lot of relationships of all those new players, and that's their brand relationships as well, and people are going to start to develop more and more comfort and understanding of the market.
Hi, Brandon from Overwatch Score, which is also based in the US. This question is largely for a few players. We've gone through a lot of press conferences today, and a lot of people have asked, like, which specific player do you want to go 1v1 against? Which one are you looking forward to in a matchup, in a game? And a lot of people have mentioned a lot of New York players. Sebiolbi has come up, Jonak has come up, Pine, Libero, Mano, Janis, frankly, all of you. So for any of you who would be okay with answering, which specific players or matchups are you looking forward to when you get into a game as the season starts?
네, 안녕하세요. 질문 전달하겠습니다. 네, 오늘 여러 선수들한테 저희가 질문을 해봤는데요. 상대하고 싶은 선수를 꼽으라면 누구냐고 질문을 했는데 뉴욕 선수들을 많이 꼽으셨습니다. 특별히 뭐 레베로, 조나, 파인, 그리고 마누, 자누스, 사실 뉴욕 선수 모든 여러분들을 픽하셨어요. 여러분들이 상대하고 싶은 선수는 누구인지 좀 말씀해 주시겠어요? 한 분만 말씀해 주시겠어요? 아무나 하셔도 됩니다.
한국어로 해도 괜찮아요.
그 마이크 조금 가까이 대주시겠어요?
누구? 링저?
It's hard choice, but I would say Linkjer.
류재홍?
Jae-hong of Seoul team.
줌바?
Logix.
I wanna play against Wicked from Seoul Dynasty because like he was my ex-teammate and I want to see his improvement.
라스카?
Laska, you got that?
서울 다이너스티 미로.
Miro.
Next question.
Hello, this is Nathan Fusco at Double Tap from the US. This is for kind of management above. What was the worries of having a New York-based team and having an all-Korean roster? Is there any kind of worries of trying to bring in an all-Korean team in New York and having fans back them just like an American roster?
No, we didn't have that concern for a host of reasons. One, because New York is one of the multicultural centers of the world. I think its diversity is what we take pride in. So to be able to welcome a team of Korean players was never a concern. And we also know that in the long term, we're investing heavily into our connection relationship with the local community. So there's going to be ties in New York in an incredible number of ways, and that's a big focus for us. What we want to do is to bring to New York the foundation for a winning culture, right? So I think that matters, especially in New York with the pressure you have there and the expectations of the fans there and how seriously they take their sports and their rivalries. We wanted to bring in players who have been accustomed playing together, who had played in tournaments together, who's part of a coaching system that's tested and sound, that's analytically driven. So for us, we thought like establishing that culture internally was really important, particularly in a new league for a new game that does not have a long history. I think being able to pour over whatever sort of foundations have been built today are really important. And I think that provides us sort of a platform to fold in talent over the years of whatever background, right? So we're focusing on the talents of the players and their characters and individuals.
Hi, again. You'll probably hear from me a lot. You've mentioned, obviously, building a community, a culture specifically based in New York, which is obviously very important for geo-specific teams like this. A lot of other teams have also pledged to do much the same, both LA teams, San Francisco, both the Texas teams. What specifically are you guys going to be doing, if you have any specifics yet, as to how are you going to integrate this team into New York as a culture? Are you working with traditional sports? Is there community outreach? Are you doing foundations, anything like that?
I mean, it's going to be all of the above. I think some of our key first hires are specifically around event and community in our local market. Again, what attracted us to this league opportunity is the structure that it has provided for us to think medium and long term. So we know we're going to build infrastructure in New York, and it's not going to be something that we just do out of the box in year one, right? This is a big undertaking, and right now we're focused on doing it in the right sequence. But it's definitely in the front of our minds at all times, and it's going to involve all the people in this table and everyone else that we begin to bring in as we expand our organization.
All right, time for one last question, okay.
Hi there, Adam from Action Esports again. So moving to LA for these first 2 years of Overwatch League is kind of a big deal. And I know for me, just moving from NorCal to SoCal was kind of a culture shock. So I can only imagine the shock to an entirely international team. Can you tell me a little bit about the integration process and kind of coming into the community of not only the United States, but LA?
Yeah, I think we've tried to do some things to help them adjust and make the transition a little more natural for them. I think we're fortunate in some regards that this is all taking place in LA, which has a huge Korean population in the city and has a lot of just sort of resources that we can lean on to make them not feel like they're on the other side of the planet, which they obviously are. I think some of that is also going to translate when we get to New York, which has a similarly large Korean population and the availability of the kinds of products and food and things like that that they're comfortable with and used to. But it's definitely been like an interesting part of this process in terms of finding out, you know, where those lines are in terms of foods that they're comfortable with, for example.
I'll add one other thing. It's a pretty big change in lifestyle to move to a completely new country, particularly at their age, and do something so different. So one thing that we're trying to be cognizant of and working as hard as possible is to remind everyone and set up an environment where everyone remembers this is a game. It should be really fun. If we're waking up and you're dreading what they're doing, then we're doing something wrong. So I think that's the most important thing to making the sort of the transition process easier. Is to not add a level of stress in something that wasn't a stress for them in the past.
All right, kidding. This is the last question.
Nathan Fusco, Double Tap from US. This is for the ex-LWB players. Back in Korea, it was kind of never able to take the first place. I think there was third place in season 2, but never kind of getting over that hump. What's going to be different now in this season? What do you think this team has that team didn't?
네, 선수분들에게 질문 하나 드릴게요. 이전에 LWB 출신 선수분들에게 질문을 하나 드리겠습니다. 사실상 한국에서는 우수한 팀이긴 했는데 LWB가 우승을 한 적은 한 번도 없으세요. 그래서 시즌 2만 해도 3등을 하셨는데 이번에는 오버워치 리그에서 어떤 차이점이 있는지 어떤 경쟁력이 있는지 LWB 팀 분들께서 좀 말씀해 주셨으면 고맙겠습니다.
네, 일단 더 이상의 건강 문제는 없을 거고요.
First of all, I can assure you that I am no longer going to have any health issues.
그리고 이제 로스터도 많이 변경됐기 때문에 이 로스터라면 정말 분명 우승할 수 있을 거라고 생각해요.
And we have an all-new roster, and with this really strong competitive roster, we are confident that we can win the game.
Like he mentioned, like we added, cause like Flowers not in his age, we added 2 talented DPS who can substitute Flower, and also we have more like, stable support line. So I think we can be more competitive than before.
All right, thank you. Let's thank NYXL for their time. Thank you, guys.